Ron DeSantimonious Florida win is a terrible omen for LGBTQ plus Americans.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you so much. You know, over these past 4 years, we've seen major challenges for the people of our state, for the citizens of the United States, and above all, for the cause of freedom. We saw freedom in our very way of life and so many other jurisdictions in this country wither on the vine. Florida held the line.
In the U.S. midterm elections, Ron DeSantis was reelected as Florida governor with 59% of the vote. As America speculates on who will throw their hat in the ring for the Republican nomination for the 2024 presidential elections, DeSantis' success is worrying the queer community. It seems certain that Trump will announce a 2024 run, and although DeSantis has cautiously avoided the question, he is widely seen as Trump's most powerful rival. Following the elections, DeSantis is in a better position than ever. In fact, Trump feels so threatened that he issued a warning to DeSantis on the day of the elections, saying that he would reveal things about the Florida governor that won't be very flattering should he run for president. But threats from Trump are unlikely to be enough to stop DeSantis, and a DeSantis presidency would be a terrifying prospect for LGBTQ plus Americans. As Florida governor, DeSantis' most notorious anti-LGBTQ plus move was the passage of a Florida law that prevents the discussion of LGBTQ plus topics in schools, dubbed the Don't Say Gay law. Last year, he signed the Fairness in Women's Sports Act, banning trans girls and women in the state from competing in sports competitions in middle school, high school, and college. In April, he signed the Stop Woke Act, heavily restricting how workplaces, schools, and colleges can teach about racism, homophobia, and other systemic biases. Well, clearly it was one of Trump's minions who came up with DeSantimonious, because that's far too many syllables for Donald Trump. And as for Governor Death Sentence, which is a name I prefer, and his lovely wife Casey, I, for one, would love to know what kind of unflattering things Trump has on them. What is the tea?
Yeah.
What's the tea?
So this is one of those situations. I used to be offended, again, going back to that, by everything that Ron DeSantis did. And I would have said that I'm not a huge fan of anything that he's doing, especially the Don't Say Gay, obviously growing up as a gay individual. However, what I am hoping comes from this is that more people will come out and they will do a much better job at voting. This is just a clear indication to me of what's happening in Florida, that we're not there yet. We have not made the progress that we needed to make, and that we must continue to fight, and more vocal people need to step up and be visible and have a message that connects with the people.
Yeah. I think for the next election, I think everybody in Michigan should move to Florida.
And Illinois, and places where they don't need those blue votes. Come here.
Yeah.
We need those blue votes.
Yeah. There's not much nice things that I could say on here. That
We're not here to say nice things.
No,
Okay, good.
but my
Because I've got something to say.
my language will be bleep, bleep, bleep.
South Parkish.
Like that.
Sound like an old internet connection.
A dial-up from AOL. But with Ron DeSantis, to your point, I think the same thing. Maybe this is the time that people will actually wake up. Maybe after some things get passed, certain liberties that people take for granted, especially with us in the LGBTQ plus community. Like, where the hell were y'all at the polls? Come on now.
Yeah, and you know, the red wave was in Florida. I mean, I knew Ron DeSantis was going to win. I knew it wasn't going to be a late night. I did not imagine an 18 to 20 point blowout. And we are officially a red state. Both chambers of the legislature are now super majorities, which means basically Democrats can go there, you know, eat their per diem and go home, because there's literally nothing they can do. But Ron DeSantis' message didn't really resonate outside of Florida, at least into the purple states. I mean, Louisiana elected a Republican senator. Well, big surprise there. But one thing out of this, talking about like what did you say? It was the pink splash or something like that. Is that Utah Senator Mike Lee, incumbent, rather well liked, only got 55% of the vote in his state. And his main opponent wasn't even a Democrat. It was a no party affiliation. Right. So I think there are a lot of people around the country in purple states and light red states that are going to reject this message if we come out with our own right message. It's not just hating Trump was enough to get Biden into office in 2020. But in 2024, we're going to have a candidate, or not a candidate, a message that not only for Biden, but for our Senate candidates, for our House representatives, because it looks like the House, while it's going to go Republican, is going to still be very narrow. So we could retake that in a national election. So it's going to be interesting to watch the next 2 years. Florida, it was a red bloodbath. But the rest of the country, it could have been a lot worse. And we're going to get to some of that in a couple minutes.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.